I consider mount to be a floating position. I will be on top. I will move. Every time it feels like I'm starting to lose my balance, okay, I will move back to a position of stability. If that means going back to side control, then that's what I'll do. If that means going back to half guard, that's what I'll do. But the one part, I will not concede. I will not concede to you full guard, and I will not let you roll me over. Okay? I'm not gonna fight off my back if I don't have to. I think, again, that's another thing in jiu-jitsu, because we don't value or respect real self-defense and real fighting. The idea of fighting off your back as a primary goal, I think, is false. It's a secondary goal. If I'm on my back, I will play guard. But I'm not gonna choose to play guard just because, and then all of a sudden, you're like, I got in a real fight and jiu-jitsu sucks because the guy got in my guard and knocked me out. Well, it's because you're playing a passive guard, you're playing it by choice, and you're kind of devaluing all the other stuff. You gotta remember, I mean, how did jiu-jitsu get launched to the world in 1993? It was UFC 1. It was shown as being an effective art against another striker, against a person who's trying to actually hurt you. But he played a different game. He didn't play the game the way it is now. Now it's grappler versus grappler, and so a lot of stuff kind of comes out. So, first part we're going to do, just go back. So, again, I play mount as a floating position. Feel free to move. Don't get stuck. That's the weird part about mount. The harder you try to control it, the easier you are to get thrown and rolled over and manipulated. So the first part we're gonna do is we're just gonna float. We're gonna surf on top of our partner. We're not gonna worry about pinning him down. I could care less, okay? I don't care where he's at on the mat. My biggest thing is not being moved out of position, okay? So first part I'm gonna do is when I'm in mount is I'm gonna put myself in position and I'm not gonna sit here, okay? This is unstable. So the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get in position. I'm gonna drop down, okay? We can throw our legs in with our grapevines, okay? But don't become like, I have to fully connect myself. I put my grapevines in, I play high into the back of his knees, and I drop my belly. And then I'm gonna play here. Hands 45 degrees forward, 45 degrees out, okay? And then we're gonna let our partner move, go ahead. My grips are always going to change. My feet are going to move around as I need to. Go use your hands. When he drops his hands, what's open? The moment his hands go to my hips, what's open? His head. I need to give him a reason to get these back up here. Otherwise, right now, he's just going to push on my hips. He's going to manipulate me, and he's going to have fun. So the moment he drops his hands, I need to give him a reason to bring those hands back up. That's why the moment I was here and his hands went down, I could start to play, and now I start going after his arms. This becomes one of the things in the game that we give up. His hands go to my hips, and I go, oh shit, I need to start defending him. No, who's in the control position? That's me. Who should be defending? Not me. If we were fighting, and the moment he dropped his hands to my hips, he's got a 2-piece and a soda coming to his face. Bang, bang, guaranteed his hands come up. Okay, so in jiu-jitsu, are we allowed to strike?
Kinda.
Huh?
Kinda.
No. Not allowed to, I will though. Okay. But things like cross faces, things of that nature, these are jiu-jitsu's versions of putting that striking pressure into the neck and face to get him to bring his hands back up. So feel free, politely, as your partner is moving and the hands start to go down to the hips, start to give them pressure up above to make them need to bring their hands back up. And then, when their hands come back up, start to look for ways to get behind their elbows. If I do that, I'm winning. Okay? Does that make sense? So let's just do that first. We'll grab a partner, one person on top, Okay, and again, we want to go with like a progressive. Okay, person on bottom, don't go hog wild in the beginning. Okay, go kind of a progressive. Do like a slow countdown. In the beginning, at 1, we're going kind of light, and then as we get to maybe about 5, we pick up that pressure a little bit. As we get to about 10 seconds in, we're giving them a lot more pressure, and then by the time we're about 15 seconds in, I'm fully trying to escape now. Okay, that way the person can kind of play around with the position a little bit, and it's just going to progressively get harder. Okay? If you escape, fantastic. If you don't escape, that's fine too, because remember, it's just drilling. It's not an end-all be-all. It's not a win or lose. But partner, down when you're on bottom, progressively as you go, I want you to start trying more ways to escape that you are familiar with. Okay. Now, preferably, I would like you to keep mount. Preferably, but remember what I said. What is your job?
Stand on top.
It's to stay on top. Mount is one of the ways I will stay on top. But if I start to lose mount, okay, are you trapped? So move to another position, side control. I'll take half mount, half guard. Okay, I will take another top position again. The only two things I will not concede to you. You will not roll me over, and I will not concede to go into your guard. Okay? I'll let one of your legs go in, but that's my only requirement. When I'm playing up and I'm playing that mount game in position, okay, I will make small back steps incrementally to make sure I maintain control. But the one part I'm not going to do, and again, it's pretty easy, when he starts to roll you over, like with a upa or something of that nature, nothing trapped you there other than you're just trying to hold on to mount, okay? And you forgot the fact that you actually could have backstepped at any second and probably retained side control at least. Or bare minimum, we're in an open scramble now, instead of now me being on my back and now they're on top doing what they want to do. Make sense? All right, let's give it a shot. One person down. 1, 2, 3. All right. So like I said, I consider mount to be a floating position. Certain positions, side control. Side control is a pin. Like I get up on top, smash, kesikatami, reverse kesikatami, things of that nature. It's about me connecting to you, and it's more of a smash position. To me, mount is, it can't be a smash, not at 100%. Okay, can you smash somebody in mount? 100%. Okay, but when you first mount somebody, they're going to fight you tooth and nail, typically. Okay, and we already know one of the things that they're typically going to attack is my hips. Okay, and the problem is in most cases, okay, he has way too many options as to how to off balance me in all these different directions. Okay, currently right now, biggest part is like he could roll me over, put me on my back. Okay, that's literally putting me underneath him now. Okay, he could pick me up by my hips, slide his knees inside, drop me into guard. He could push one leg into half guard. You could go on either side. He could literally off balance me in virtually any direction, forward, backwards, left, right, side to side. That's why it's very hard, especially in the beginning. You have almost 360 degrees that you're trying to defend. Okay? That's a very difficult proposition. That's why I say we kind of have to float until we can put a few key pieces in place. And that's why for myself, while I'm floating, I'm hunting for your elbows at all times. Because once I can secure one of your elbows, okay, meaning getting your elbow typically across my body and across your body, the game changes. At that moment in time, okay, you're going to be directional only to one side, and the fight goes away tremendously once we can do that. Okay, but in the beginning though, we have to float. Okay, what I mean by floating is I'm going to smash you as much as I can until I can't. The moment I feel like I'm getting off balance, okay, again, you have a choice to make now. You're at a teeter spot, okay? Make no decision and you get rolled over. Okay? What's the one song? Even if you choose not to decide, you still have made a choice. Okay? If you're getting rolled over and you choose to do nothing, you're getting rolled over. Okay? So you have to choose to do something else. because that choice has already been made for you. You actively have to make a choice to do something else. Okay? But when we look at how the position works, it's not like guard. Okay? In guard, his legs are wrapped around my legs. He has access to my legs to pin me in place. When he's on top, or when I'm on top and I'm on top of his legs and he's pushing me from side to side, what's holding me there? What is physically pinning me and not letting me move out of position? Absolutely nothing. It's my choice to choose to move. So now, the part we have to watch out for, those who like leg locks, okay, mount defense is one of my favorite ways. It's one, in my opinion, it's one of the easiest ways to get into like single leg X and things of that nature. So we have to make sure that we watch allowing our hips to climb up, because then he starts sliding his knees inside, establishing his leg entanglement, and then going on from there. Okay. So what we're gonna do is a little drill. Okay. I don't fight from, well, I shouldn't say, I fight from this position every once in a while. Okay, but mainly it's because I'm just testing my hip ride ability. I don't actively choose to do it because I think it's an awesome position. Okay, so I call it monkey mount. So I'm in, and typical grapevines are here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove my grapevines, and I'm going to put my feet inside. My hands are going to be in the mat, and I'm going to push into his legs. So now again, we're going to do the same progressive. He's going to start to move his hips, okay? And as he does, look at my knees. My knees are barely even touching the ground. The goal is to make him carry that weight. He's going to lift his hips. He's going to play around. Stay heavy. Your knees should not physically be weight bound on the floor. They should be down lower than your feet, but they should be driving into his legs. You go. If I feel like I'm starting to lose any kind of my positioning or the like, what I'm going to do is lift my knees up, choose one side, and baseball slide to freedom. Okay? Because the one part I will not let him do is I will not let him get his legs between mine. Okay? If he gets his legs in between mine, I'm going to be in trouble, because that's how he's going to get into leg entanglements and things of that nature. But when you start getting used to an exit strategy, okay, oh no, he's lifting me up, cut your knees to one side like you're doing a baseball slide, I can steal that away from him. Okay? So again, we're going to go in, okay, drop your weight, and put your feet inside. Okay? So now again, he's going to move around, pressure, 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 like shock absorbers, use your legs. Okay? And if you feel the opportunity or feel like it's time, elevate. And then choose your hips off to one side. Almost like my knees come together and they just go off. Who knew in jiu-jitsu that this would be one of the most dominant positions in the game? Okay? Remember this position, and we'll show you how many times it shows up repetitively over and over and over again. That this actually becomes one of the foundational positions of destruction. All right, so now let's go into our monkey mount and play around with that. Again, learn to float, okay? Kind of like a jockey riding a horse. I'm like, I never ridden a horse. Obviously, the moment we get in the mount is when they're going to fight the heaviest. Now, we have this magic 3 seconds in jiu-jitsu. Okay? This is typically what points are derived from. I get in position, and if I can hold and maintain for 3 magic seconds, then I can get my points. Unless I get in position and they don't fight me. If I get in position and they don't fight me, I get my points immediately. The magic 3 seconds doesn't really happen because the referee looks at it and goes, he just accepted it. So then at that point, if you're fighting a match, points just go up on the board. But generally speaking, those magic 3 seconds, okay, that's your best time to fight. While they are attempting to get into position, before the weight has settled and everything else, you should be fighting like crazy to not allow the position to establish. Because every time, we always have 3 different opportunities. Okay? You have the early defense. How did he mount you in the first place? You have the middle defense. You have the, while they are attempting to mount you, to defend, they are mounting you, but the weight hasn't settled yet. And then you have the late defense. It's too late. They have mounted you. And now the weight has settled, and now you have to find a way out. But now you're going to fight the hardest amount possible because you've allowed the weight to settle in place. So the best time to defend is always in the beginning. Like when they're attempting to mount you, that's the time to shut them down. Now, that's typically hard to do though, because that usually means you have to understand that the threat is on the table, and it usually means that they might have a technical ability greater than yours, or they might have a physicality that's greater than yours, and that's why the opportunity exists. So that early defense can be the toughest one. When their weight is dropping on top of you, okay, again, they are mounting you, but the weight is still in motion. This is when the fight should be at its best. This is when those 3 seconds count. Okay, 3 seconds is a long time. This is when you should be fighting. This is when you should be, while that weight is not settled, fight like mad to at least get to half guard. Okay? Even if I can't roll you completely off of me, get one leg. Put one leg between yours. Okay? Mount is now gone, and you're at least in half guard. When we start to take things, instead of having to be this all or nothing proposition, okay, you're mounting me. Oh, I need to roll you over, and I need to change this position massively. No, you don't. Push one of their legs between yours, secure a half guard. Okay? That is way simpler than trying to do this big rollover, especially in the beginning. While they're first trying to mount you, it is way easier to just establish a half guard than it is to get the full rollover. Okay? And then at that point in time, again, 3 seconds, that's all. I mean, you actually need less time than that. Because remember, they're trying to mount you, which means they are putting one of their legs over your body in the process, making it one of the easiest things you're ever going to do in the world. It's not that hard to do in the middle of the process. It's actually super easy. Okay? So, a couple pieces we can look at. Okay, is I want you to put me in guard. Okay, and I want you to choose a sweep. Okay. And we're just going to go slow at first. Oh no, he got me in guard. Okay, so right through here, where's my right hand? On the ground. And where's my left hand?
Yeah.
Now, what are the chances I can beat this leg? Slim. Look at his control. This is one of the better sweeps as far as being difficult to change up. Okay, but like I said, what's my right hand doing?
Holding you up.
Right now, I put it on his hip, and I'm preparing right now because while his weight is not settled, he's sweeping me over. Oh no! Oh no! Right here. Where's my knee? Okay. While he's taking me over, one hip is always suspect. And in this case, if I hit the ground, he's holding onto this leg. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but I still have the ability to move my hip. And I still have a hand that I get to play with. And I'm going to push on his hip, and I'm going to drive at least bare minimum my leg through. Now, this could turn into single leg X, coming in through here. Or at bare minimum, he just drives in. Oh no. And then we're playing half guard. His mount is now gone. Simply because once we understand that the position is not ours anymore, and this takes a little bit of experience, but once you start to realize, I've lost. The position was mine, and right at, there was what I call the event horizon, the point of no return. Once you establish, once you know where the event horizon is, stop fighting. Stop fighting what's already happened and start fighting for where you're going. Okay? He has to be dedicated 100% from start to finish. I'm free to change up in the middle. Okay? In the beginning, I fight. Nope, too late. He already got me. Here we go. The second half of the sweep is me fighting for where we're headed, but he has to be dedicated 100% from start to finish. Because the moment he takes his pressure off, I'm 100% free, and I get to start fighting more aggressively. Almost every sweep, the one he chose is one of the more controlling sweeps. That's probably one of the hardest ones to steal. But the setup of that sweep is also one of the harder setups. That's the trade-off. The more time and effort it takes to get your setup, the rewards should be greater on the back end. That's the trade-off. Why are we investing more time if it doesn't yield better results on the backside? Okay? That's why some of the other sweeps are so good. They're fast, but man, they're stealable. Super stealable. When you start to recognize, again, he has two hips. It's not always the top leg. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it isn't. Going back. Let's do a different sweep. Oh no! How hard was that one? That's the classic hip over sweep. Okay, that one actually, to be honest with you, when you start to get very good at that, that's a back take in the process. But it's all going to be based on, he has to be dedicated start to finish. I have one hand that's open, but for some reason, we don't start fighting until we make it to the end. The reality is, once I can see, he got me, now we fight for what's next. Okay, I still have the second half of the sweep. In this case, one hand on his leg, I'll land in half guard with full back exposure the whole time. Okay, one more sweep. So again, through here, what's this hand doing? A whole lot nothing. So when he starts to sweep me over, oh no! What's my hand doing? Okay, mount me. Just a simple little post will make it incredibly difficult for his hip to transition in. Why? Okay, because when you're on your side, what power do you have to push into me? He doesn't have anything. He has to get up as badly as I do. So when we're in this position, let's just lay on our side. Okay. Just lay down. Okay. Okay. Now mount me. Like I said, in every single sweep, there's an opportunity like that. We're on our sides. If I can just put a hand on his hip, whose responsibility is it to come mount me?
Guy on top.
But where are you getting your power from?
Hips.
Right. But while you're on your side, your hips have no base. So a simple hand on your hip, your hands right now are holding on to other body parts of mine, so I can't get out. But if I can just put a hand on his hip, he's going to struggle to get up. That struggle is me sliding a knee in, going single leg X or half guard. Virtually every sweep has it. But the problem is, we don't identify it. We think the fight, the 3 seconds, is only at the end. So here's what we're going to do is, I want you to go into any position. I don't care what it is. Okay? Some positions are harder than others. Granted, there's a whole reason why setups exist. The setup is to make it better for you in the process. But first part, I want to start off with some sweeps. Let's do the simple hip over sweep. Okay, it's the one you should be able to steal the most, and that's the one that a lot of white belts and hell, even some of the advanced belts use quite a bit. Okay, so on that one, so he's in, he isolates one of my arms, sits up like he's going to do a Kimura, and then pushes his hips into me. Okay, but look, right here, oh no! How do you miss? I mean, literally in the process, how do I miss half guard? I'm not saying it's impossible, but your likelihood, because remember, who has to be dedicated 100% start to finish? He does. I'm along for the ride. I'm sitting in the passenger seat, playing my Game Boy, doing whatever I want. Okay? He's the one that has to keep the eye on the road and drive. I get to switch up. I get to do whatever I want in the process. So while he's driving, that's what we got to do. Start thinking about where are we going. You can already tell based on the setup what hand is free, what hip can you control, and then start to go after it. Make sense? All right, so let's do hip over first. Just get used to that. That's the easiest. Like literally, that's the easiest. And then pick another sweep. And again, go slow. Start to look at it, and as soon as they start to sweep you over, It's not always the top leg. Sometimes it's the bottom leg. But when he's laying on the side, a little hand and a little butt scoot will do wonders. All right, let's get 1, 2, 3.